Hey, what's going on, guys? Well, I got some training knives here I want to do a review on. These actually came from a viewer who makes and sell these. They're custom-made training knives. Thought it was pretty interesting. They contacted me and asked if I wanted to try them out. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll try them out. Their main thing is their Karambit training knives, but they also have these as well. And these are basically representing a generic fixed blade. Okay, obviously these are specifically spear point, but they do kind of represent just any old fixed blade knife. Most of the stabbings and slashings and knife attacks we have, not only in the United States, but all abroad, all around the world, they're not with expensive collector's knives. They're not with the knives that me and you love to carry. They're with kitchen knives. You know what I'm saying? That's just a fact. Most people who grab a knife out of rage or even a premeditative attack, they usually have some kind of a kitchen knife. Very rarely is it a hunting knife or, you know, some kind of a collectible type knife. So anyway, yeah, I checked these out a little bit. I played with them. They are nicely made. They're made out of aluminum, which I kind of see as a negative. Now, it's nice that they are metal. A lot of the training knives in the marketplace, and I do collect quite a few of them, they're generally rubber or some kind of a composite or plastic, all right, a synthetic. Cold Steel makes tons of trainers. There's a lot of oddball companies that put out trainers. I have a lot of rubber ones that are thick, dense rubber. All right, so they don't hurt as much. With something like this, if you're sparring with someone, you can poke an eye out if you're not using glasses. You can bruise someone fairly, severely. You can still break bone. If you happen to swing and it hits a wrist or a knuckle or something, you can, it's metal. You can definitely hurt yourself. So you want to, of course, take the proper precautions. I like training knives, and I want to kind of get Christina into sparring with me a little bit. I know she's not going to be super into it. I'm excited that she's into guns and knives and gear and everything else, but actually going out and fighting each other in what I'm trying to be realistic scenarios on knife attacks, not sure if she's going to be into that so much. But ever since the beginning collecting knives, I've always thought of knives in a defensive or offensive role as a weapon. Of course, they're tools. They're tools to me every single day, but guess what? In a really bad situation, whatever tools you have around you or accessible to you, they become weapons if you need to defend yourself. And a knife is a very, very good weapon if need be. So I do like the idea of actually training and trying different moves, with a partner, which is great. But anyway, on to the point. Training knives are awesome in general. This video happens to be about these specifically. So these are aluminum. I'm going to say that's a negative. I know aluminum's easy to work with, easy to drill and cut and all that stuff, but it's a pro that it's metal, compared to plastic or rubber. But it's closer to a real feel, but if you're going to make them out of metal, you might as well make them out of steel, so you do get the same weight. These are very, very light. All right, so maybe better than a rubber or plastic training knife, but still not, what I would consider a perfect training knife, which would be something as closest to the real deal as possible, just no tip or an edge. I do like the fact that they went with a spear point style blade. Again, just being a generic representation of an edge. What's nice about that, though, is it does represent a double-sided edge. You could practice with these and, draw like a marker line on one side if you wanted to represent just cutting one way, or if you did want to spar or train with someone and have an understanding that, it's a double-edged knife, you can do that with this design. There's no point here, so when you're stabbing, yes, it's aluminum. It's going to hurt a little and bruise, but it's not going to penetrate, okay? It's not going to go into skin, which is very nice, all right? Again, these lightning holes, cool design, I guess, but taking away, again, from something that's already light, you can ditch the holes. I mean, if they're taking criticism from this video, get rid of the holes. You don't need to. If you can upgrade to steel, even better, okay? Especially for the price point. These large ones sell for $30, I believe, and the Karambits are $25. Now, that's not outrageous or anything. Those prices are actually pretty on par with some training knives out there, especially metal ones. But for that price, I want to see some steel. Just, again, to get just a little bit more realistic. If you're going to go metal, go, the whole deal. So as far as the finishes on here, it's actually really nice. It's a kind of a baked on paint. It's extremely smooth. They're very well done. They're professionally painted. It's not like someone's doing this in their basement. You can see they do have kind of a glitter, a very high metallic, finish to it in all the colors. As you can see, they're kind of glittery. Not really into glitter on my knives, but it is nice. It's a nice finish. It's very professionally done. You got the logo there for the company. These ones are cool. They're cool, but I do have plenty of stuff like that. This is what I was most interested in because you don't see a lot of, practice karambits. All right, I do like this quite a bit, especially a karambit, because you want to try lots and lots of different maneuvers, especially grips and holds, using the wrist of a partner. You can find all this information online. There's plenty of great tutorials, on YouTube, but besides that, books, there's a lot of videos available on using a karambit as a defensive option. But it's an art form, and like I dabble in all this kind of stuff. I'm not gonna say I'm not an expert in anything. I don't consider myself an expert in anything anyway. I know some techniques to fight with a karambit, but it's not like that would be my first choice for a defensive knife. Even though it's devastating, I'm not a master at that. Like if you want to get into carrying karambit for defense and you want to get a trainer and you want to learn about it, you got to like do it all. You know what I'm saying? You have to dedicate yourself to years of practice and training to really use one efficiently. Otherwise, you're best off with something like this. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's besides the point. So my critiques on this, they're very nicely made. However, I like to see them in steel. I like to see without the lightning holes. Again, they're not heavy. You don't need to lighten them up. And the wraps on these, although they're very comfortable, they really are very comfortable, but I like to see some legit paracord. This is just some kind of nylon cord. It hasn't frayed or anything. I have handled these quite a bit. I don't foresee them falling apart or anything, but like I said, for the price, I'd love to just see some real paracord on there. And especially because you're doing different colors, you can coordinate with the colorful paracord as well. Or you can just go with black, for simplicity. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. They do seem very durable. You can see, I mean, they're gonna dent before that paint's coming off. All right, so I mean, you can really spar with someone. But like I said, be careful out there. Don't all of a sudden just grab training knives and start swinging them at your friends. It could be a very fun thing in the proper environment with the proper safety precautions. Of course, if you're underage with adult supervision. If you're underage, you should probably be using some rubber ones, and definitely want an adult around to supervise. And absolutely, you need some eye protection, maybe even like an airsoft mask or something. You just really want to think about all the scenarios that could happen. Even though these don't have points or edges on them, you can hurt, you can hurt each other on accident. So just be careful. So there you go, guys. There's my opinions on these training knives here. If they don't change anything, they just keep them aluminum and painted how they are. I'd love to see them just $20 across the board. That's it, just 20 bucks for all of them. And, instead of 25 and 30, I think they're, for what they are, and $20 is more, where I would be comfortable buying them, put it that way. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.